What's up, everybody? BigSweetC here with a very special video on this year's E3. Now, I know it's been a few days since the event actually occurred, but I wanted to give each team a chance to rebuttal or comment on the criticism they received on all the announcements before I actually put my opinions out there. Overall, I think there's a lot to be hyped about, and this was a very, very good E3. Much more good than bad. So much so that I could probably make an entire video on just the good, but I'm not going to bore everybody, so we'll just kind of recap the big hitters and go over a few of the ones that I think that you should know about that deserve some love as well. After the good, we'll get into the bad and then the ugly. The difference being, I didn't really have a whole lot of expectations for the bad, whereas I had high expectations for the ugly, and they just turned out to be very, very disheartening. Okay, let's go. The good. In my honest opinion, I think Bethesda had the best E3. We finally got some more info on their new Space Frontier game Starfield, their new Fallout game, and even Elder Scrolls 6. They even had announcements for Fallout Shelter updates, a new very special Skyrim, and the Elder Scrolls Blades. Now, I know a lot of you have been having second doubts about Fallout 76 being a multiplayer game only, but I'm actually pretty excited about it. The fact that trolls can come in and destroy your hard-earned settlements adds a bit of excitement to the game. In a realistic setting, you would be worried that at any minute a raider would come in and try and destroy everything. So, to me it makes sense you'd need to worry about that in the game as well. And considering I'm not a huge modder, I don't necessarily hate the fact that mods might not be as common in this one. Also, the Somerset DLC for Elder Scrolls Online really cemented Bethesda as the winner of this year's E3 for me. Among the lesser known games, Killer Queen Black is one I'm also very excited for. This has been a multiplayer arcade game for a few years now, with throwback mechanics akin to Joust and 2D platformer mode. This is an incredibly fun and quick multiplayer game that has a ton of potential for online gaming. Other games deserving attention include The Last of Us 2, The Walking Dead: The Final Season, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Kingdom Hearts 3, Beyond Good and Evil 2, even Battletoads. There's also a few DLCs that were announced, including Warframe: The Sacrifice, Don't Starve: Hamlet, The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, and For Honor: Marching Fire, that rounded out a pretty decent E3. Now the bad. Again, these are games that I didn't really have a lot of expectations for, that didn't impress me much with their announcements. First is Gears Tactics, a game that I thought had potential, and considering I'm not a huge Gears of War guy, I was hoping for a little more hype with this one. I love tactical strategy games, but this one didn't seem to pique my interest. It looks a lot like the Bureau XCOM Declassified, and while I really like that game a lot, I'd rather not get that game in a franchise cover of a series I'm not really into. And as much as I hate to say this, Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice almost made it to the ugly list, in all honesty. As everyone knows, I am a huge From Software guy, and I was pretty excited about hearing what they had to say about their new franchise. Overall, I do think the game looks rather awesome, which is what ended up keeping it off the ugly list. However, it's being published by Activision, which to me is a big turnoff. Activision has shown recently that it has no intention of publishing quality content, and their whole goal is to milk consumers of every penny they have. So sorry to say to From Software, but I'm not currently interested in your new game, and it has nothing to do with you. Finally, Total War: Three Kingdoms, Hitman 2, and Command & Conquer Rivals are three games that I think have potential, but just didn't show me enough to get really excited about. Last but certainly not least is the ugly list. There are just two games that came to mind when I was putting this recap together that really stood out as just plain ugly. Games that had potential, and the news just tanked all excitement to the point that I'm considering dumping the franchises altogether. The first is the Friday the 13th game. I was expecting an announcement for its new Jason, new maps, updated single player. All we ended up getting was a bad breakup note. Gun Media announced that there would be no more DLC for the game ever. This was a big upset for me because I do enjoy playing this game and was really hoping for all the new content. Now, this could have gone better if they had said they'd still update the game. If you haven't played it in a while, the servers are straight trash. But considering they're moving into a new direction and making a new FPS, I doubt we'll even get fixes for what we already have. Now, I did just read recently that this is because of a lawsuit they're facing, but I don't buy that keeping them from fixing the bugs in their current game. Finally, the grand prize winner for Ultimate Shite Award goes to Destiny 2 and Activision. This game, man, I've been the only one hyping this game forever, and Activision decided to screw us all once again. As I've previously stated, Activision has made it abundantly clear that they do not care about consumers, just their wallets. And that's exactly what they did with Destiny 2 Forsaken. For anyone who doesn't remember, Activision broke up Destiny into two parts, meaning the Taken King was actually part of the original game, and Activision decided to strip it out of the base game and resell it as DLC. Not only that, but you had to pay to access the DLC, then pay for the DLC. Now, I jumped into that game early and was then forced to repurchase the base game when the Taken King came out. There was absolutely no way they would have done that again in my mind, especially considering people bailed on Destiny 2 almost immediately. Well, come a year later, and that's exactly what Activision is pulling. Again. I've already paid $60 for the base Destiny 2 and $30 for the 2 expansions from year 1. Now, first of all, Curse of Osiris was not nearly worth $15 as it included very little outside of a new planet, and Warmind was not much bigger. Now they're expecting me to pay another $40, almost the cost of a full game, just to access Forsaken. That's $40 for a DLC. $40 for a DLC. Not to mention, that DLC is actually just the second half of Destiny 2 that Activision once again cut to then charge consumers more money. On top of that, the new annual pass is another $35 for what's supposed to be 3 additional DLCs. Now, if any one of those DLCs is just the same size as Curse of Osiris and whatever that DLC might be will not be worth an additional $10. No thanks. For $75, I'd rather buy a new game, not repurchase something I already own. That's going to wrap this one up. What did you think? Am I right? Am I wrong? Who do you think was the winner and losers of E3 this year? Tell me in the comments below because I really want to know. Either way, that's going to do it for this one. BigSweetC, that's me, wishing you a wonderful day, night, morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time of day it might be. Long as you're watching, I'm wishing you a wonderful watching time. Sweetness, signing off. Peace.